What is strategy evaluation framework? What is effective strategy evaluation? What are those important strategy evaluation and control? If you are asking the same question, then you are at the right video. Hello there! In this video, we are going to tackle important lessons for strategic management, namely strategic review, evaluation, and control, which also consists of 9 subtopics, namely nature of strategy evaluation, process of evaluating strategies, strategic evaluation framework, the balanced scoreboard, published sources of strategy evaluation information, characteristics of an effective evaluation system, contingency planning, auditing, 21st century challenges in strategic management, and also the conclusion. I know hearing all of these topics seems to be very heavy, but we are here to make it seems to be easy to understand as we can. But before anything else, allow me to introduce my very active team members, starting with Ms. Josa Villesa, followed by Mr. Keith Charles Gallagher, and then with Ms. Heidi Madule, and of course, yours truly, James Kenneth Agyat. And to fully identify to what we are going to achieve after this video, here are the list of learning objectives. First, describe a practical framework for evaluating strategies. Second, explain why strategy evaluation is complex, sensitive, and yet essential for organizational success. Third, is to discuss the importance of contingency planning in strategy evaluation. Fourth, discuss the role of auditing in strategy evaluation. Fifth, explain how computers can aid in evaluating strategies. Sixth is to discuss the balanced scoreboard. Seventh is to discuss 3 21st century challenges in strategic management. The best formulated and best implemented strategies become obsolete as a firm's external and internal environments change. It is essential, therefore, that strategists systematically review, evaluate, and control the execution of strategies. This chapter presents a framework that can guide the manager's effort to evaluate strategic management activities, to make sure that they are working, and to make timely changes. Management information systems being used to evaluate strategies are discussed. Guidelines are presented for formulating, implementing, and evaluating strategies. And now let's begin to our first discussion on topic 1 entitled Nature of Strategy Evaluation. Strategic evaluation is defined as the process of determining the effectiveness of a given strategy in achieving the organizational objectives and taking corrective action wherever required. Strategy evaluation includes 3 basic activities in evaluating strategies. These activities are good measurement to know if the strategy is effective and to see if there is a need to change the strategy if there is a problem. And so, the first activity is the examination of the underlying basis of a firm's strategy. Second is the comparing of the expected results with the actual results. And lastly is to taking corrective actions to ensure that performance conforms to plans. The first one is about assessing the basis of a firm strategy. What, how, and why this strategy is needed to a firm to be implemented. The second one is about comparing the expected results with the actual results, wherein this helps in knowing if the strategy is effectively implemented if expected results are realized by its actual results. Lastly, the third activity is about taking corrective actions to see to it that the strategy implemented is well performed and is executed according to the plans. In Romel's theory, strategy evaluation is simply an assessment of organizational performance, but using it does not guarantee that it will work. And so, Richard Rumelt offered 4 criteria that could be used to evaluate a strategy, which is consistency, consonance, feasibility, and advantage. Consistency and feasibility are largely based on an internal assessment, while consonance and advantage are mostly based on a firm's external assessment. Consistency in Rumelt's criteria states that a strategy must not have a conflicting goals and objectives. Conflict within the organization reflects to a problem in management but can also refer to strategic inconsistency. We can say that there is a strategic inconsistency if the problem remains, even though there is a change of personnel. Second is the success of one department is seen as a failure to another. And lastly, if top management continue to have a hand in resolving issues at the lower level. Another criterion is a consonance, which emphasizes the importance of examining sets of trends in relation to individual trends. A strategy symbolizes an adjustment to an external stimulus or changes in the environment. The challenges of this sort of strategy formulation is that most trends are results of other trends. So it is important to know and examine what is happening outside the firm. The third criterion is feasibility. Feasibility refers to the strategy that must neither overtax available resources nor create unsolvable sub-problems. It is all about not taking too much available resources that is not feasible enough to be realized. Furthermore, the strategy must be feasible that it won't cause or create another sub-problems that may affect a firm. And the last criterion is advantage. Advantage refers to the strategy that must provide for the criterion and or maintenance of a competitive advantage in the selected area of activity. Advantage is all about having the competitive advantage of a selected area over their rivals and seeing to it that their strategy is doing better. A strategy that fails to meet one or more of these criteria is strongly suspect. It fails to perform at least one of the key functions that are necessary for the survival of the business. Experience within a particular industry or other setting will permit the analyst to sharpen these criteria and add others that are appropriate to the situation at hand. As the world shifts into modernization, strategy evaluation is getting harder and harder today. Here are the reasons why. First is that there is a dramatic increase in the environment's complexity. Then there is an increasing difficulty of predicting the future with accuracy. Another one is an increasing number of variables. Then, the rapid rate of obsolescence of even the best plans. Another one is an increase in the number of both domestic and world events affecting organizations. And lastly, the decreasing time span for which planning can be done with any degree of certainty. And now, we are down to our second topic, which is entitled Process of Evaluating Strategies. Strategy evaluation is necessary for all sizes and kinds of organization. Strategy evaluation should initiate managerial questioning of expectations and assumptions, should trigger a review of objectives and values, and should stimulate creativity in generating alternatives and formulating criteria of evaluation. Successful strategies combine with patience, with a willingness to promptly take corrective actions when necessary. There always comes a time when corrective actions are needed in an organization. Centuries ago, a writer, perhaps Solomon, made the following observations about change. Allow me to read. There is a time for everything, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. And this would be all for my assigned topic. Stay tuned for the next topics. Bye-bye!
Hi, I am Joseph Leasa, and on this slide, we are going to tackle the third topic, which is all about the strategic evaluation framework. And now let's begin. So on the first slide, we have here the figure 9.2, which is the strategy evaluation framework. This reviews the underlying basis of an organization's strategy that could be approached by developing a revised external factor evaluation matrix and internal factor evaluation matrix. So this graph or this framework is the overview of what a strategy evaluation is. So a strategy evaluation framework has three different kind of activities. The first one is review underlying basis of strategy, and the second one is to measure organizational performance. And lastly, the third one is to take corrective actions. So in the first activity, this includes preparing the revised internal and external factor evaluation matrix and comparing this revised to the existing internal and external factor evaluation matrix. After this activity, we can now evaluate if these activities have significant differences that occurs. If there is a significant differences, then we should proceed to take the third activity, which is to take corrective actions. Well, if there is no significant differences, then we can proceed to activity 2, which is to measure organizational performance. In this activity, this is about comparing the planned to actual progress toward meeting stated objectives. After this activity, we should also evaluate this if it has a significant differences. So if ever it has a significant differences, then we should take corrective actions, which is the activity 3. But if there is no significant differences, then we can continue the present course. First activity, which is the reviewing underlying basis of strategy, since we are approaching it in using the EFE and the IFE matrix. So the revised IFE matrix should focus on changes in the organization's management, marketing, finance or accounting, productions or operations, research and development, and management information systems strengths and weaknesses. So a revised EFE matrix should indicate how effective a firm's strategies have been in response to key opportunities and threats. This analysis could also address such questions as the following. how have competitors reacted to our strategies? How have competitors' strategies changed? Have major competitors' strengths and weaknesses changed? Why are competitors making certain strategic changes? Why are some competitors' strategies more successful than ours? How satisfied are our competitors with their present market positions and profitability? How far can our major competitors be pushed before retaliating? And lastly, how we could be more effectively cooperate with our competitors. External and internal factors can prevent firms from achieving long-term and annual objectives. Externally, actions by competitors, changes in demand, changes in technology, economic changes, demographic shifts, and governmental actions may prevent objectives from being accomplished. External opportunities and threats that internal strengths and weaknesses that represent the basis of current strategies should continually be monitored for change. It is not really a question of whether these factors will change, but rather when will they change and in what ways. Here are some key questions to address in evaluating strategies. First question could be, are our internal strengths still strengths? Have we added other internal strengths? If so, what are they? Are our internal weaknesses still weaknesses? Do we now have other internal weaknesses? And if so, what are they? Are our external opportunities still opportunities? And if there are other external opportunities, if so, what are they? Are our external threats still threats? And if there is now other external threats, what are they? And lastly, are we vulnerable to a hostile takeover? The next slide, we have here the second activity, which is measuring organizational performance. So this includes comparing expected results to actual results, investigating deviations from plans, evaluating individual performance, and examining progress being made toward meeting stated objectives. Both long-term and annual objectives are commonly used in this process. Criteria for evaluating strategies should be measurable and easily verifiable. Criteria that predicts results may be more important than those that reveal what already has happened. Determining which objectives are most important in the evaluation of strategies can be difficult. Strategy evaluation is based on both quantitative and qualitative criteria. Selecting the exact set of criteria for evaluating strategies depends on the particular organization's size, industry, strategies, and management philosophy. So when an organization is pursuing a retrenchment strategy, for example, could have an entirely different set of evaluative criteria from an organization pursuing a market development strategy. Here, the quantitative criteria that are commonly used to evaluate strategies are financial ratios, which strategies use to make three critical comparisons. First is comparing the firm's performance over different time periods, comparing the firm's performance to competitors, and comparing the firm's performance to industry averages. Next, we also have some key financial ratios that are particularly useful as criteria for strategy evaluation. First is the return on investment, or ROI, the return on equity, ROE, the profit margin, market share, debt to equity, earnings per share, sales growth, and asset growth. Some potential problems are associated using quantitative criteria for evaluating strategies. First, most quantitative criteria are geared to annual objectives rather than long-term objectives. Also, different accounting methods can provide different results on many quantitative criteria. Third, intuitive judgments are almost always involved in deriving quantitative criteria, and for these and other reasons, qualitative criteria are also important in evaluating strategies. So here we have some additional key questions that reveal the need for qualitative or intuitive judgments in strategy evaluations. First is, how good is the firm's balance of investments between high-risk and low-risk projects. Second is how good is the firm's balance of investments between long-term and short-term projects. Third is how good is the firm's balance of investments between slow-growing markets and fast-growing markets. The first is the firm's balance on investments among different divisions. The fifth is to what extent are the firm's alternative strategies socially responsible. The sixth is what are the relationships among the firm's key internal and external strategic factors, and lastly, how are major competitors likely to respond to particular strategies. And lastly, we have the final strategy evaluation activity, which is the taking corrective actions. So this requires making changes to competitively reposition a firm to the future. So we have here the table 9.5, which is the corrective actions that possibly needed to correct unfavorable variances. So first is to alter the firm's structure. Second is to replace one or more key individuals. Third is to divest a division. And the next is to alter the firm's vision and or missions, revise objectives, alter strategies, devise new policies, install new performance incentives, raise capital with stocks or debt, add or terminate salespersons, employees or managers, allocate resources differently, and lastly is to outsource or rein in business functions. And we have here the last slide for the topic 3, so which is the table 9.3, which is the strategy evaluation assessment matrix. So this assessment matrix is evaluating if there is like a major changes in the firm in internal strategic position, in external strategic position, and if ever has the firm progress satisfactorily toward achieving its stated objectives and of course the result. So among all others, we can notice that the last part is the only one who has a different result. So notice that these corrective actions are almost always needed except when the external and internal factors have not significantly changed and the firm is still progressing satisfactorily toward achieving stated objectives. So that is the only way where you can continue to present the strategic course. But among others, we should take a corrective actions. Which is the topic 4, is all about the balance scorecard. So the balance scorecard was introduced earlier in the chapter 5, discussions of objectives. So it is an important strategy evaluation tool that provides a comprehensive view of an organization's performance. This is developed by Robert S. Kaplan and David P. Norton. So the balance scorecard helps organizations align their activities with their strategic objectives and monitor progress towards those objectives. It typically includes key performance indicators or KPIs in 4 perspectives. So the first is the financial perspective, the customer perspective, the internal business processes perspective, and the learning and growth perspective. So the first perspective, which is the financial one, this includes traditional financial metrics such as revenue, profitability, and return on investment. The second is the customer perspective. This focuses on measures related to customer satisfaction, market share, and customer retention. The third one is the internal business processes perspective, which examines the efficiency and effectiveness of internal operations, identifying key processes that contribute to organizational success, and of course, last but not the least, the learning and growth perspective. So it encompasses employee training, innovation, and other factors that contribute to the organization's ability to improve and grow. So the balance scorecard analysis that firms seek answers to the following questions and utilize that information in conjunction with financial measures to adequately and more effectively evaluate strategies being implemented. So here are the questions. Number one is, how well is the firm continually improving and creating value along measures such as innovation, technological leadership, product quality, operational processes, efficiencies, and so on. The second question is, how well is the firm sustaining and even improving upon its core competencies and competitive advantage? And the third question is, of course, how satisfied are the firm's customers, which is the very important aspect. So, for the last slide, for the topic 4, because topic 4 is such a short chapter now. So, we have here an example balance scorecard, and of course, it is empty because it is just an example. So, we can notice that the firm examines 6 key issues in evaluating its strategies. First is the customers, the managers or employees, operations or processes, community or social responsibility, business ethics or natural environment, and financial. So the basic form of a balanced scorecard may differ for different organizations. The balanced scorecard approach to strategy evaluation, which aims to balance long-term with short-term concerns, to balance financial with non-financial concerns, and to balance internal with external concerns. So take note that the balanced scorecard would be constructed differently, that is, adapted to particular firms in various industries, with the underlying theme or thrust being the same, which is to evaluate the firm's strategies based upon both key quantitative and qualitative measures. That would be all on my assigned topics. Stay tuned for the next topics. Thank you.
Hi, I am Heidi B. Madulin, and on this side we are going to tackle the topics published sources of strategy evaluation information, characteristics of an effective evaluation system, and contingency planning. And now let's begin. Published sources of strategy evaluation information. A number of publications are helpful in evaluating a firm's strategies. For example, Fortune annually identifies and evaluates the Fortune 1000, the largest manufacturers, and the Fortune 50, the largest retailers, transportation companies, utilities, banks, insurance companies, and diversified financial corporations in the United States. Fortune ranks the best and worst performers on various factors such as return on investment, sales volume, and profitability. In its March issue each year, Fortune publishes its strategy evaluation research in an article entitled America's Most Admired Companies. According to Fortune, there are 8 key attributes that serve as an evaluative criterion. First, people management. It focuses on how well a company manages and develops its workforce, including aspects such as talent acquisition, employee satisfaction, and diversity. Second, innovativeness. It reflects a company's ability to innovate and adapt to changes in the business environment. These can include product innovation, technological advancement, and creative problem solving. Third is the quality of products and services. It evaluates the overall quality and excellence of the products or services offered by a company. This criterion considers customer satisfaction and the competitiveness of the offerings. Fourth is the financial soundness. It assesses the financial health and stability of a company, including factors like profitability, debt management, and overall financial performance. Fifth is the social responsibility. It examines a company's commitment to ethical business practices, environmental sustainability, and corporate social responsibility initiatives. Sixth is the use of corporate assets. It focuses on how efficiently and effectively a company utilizes its resources and assets to generate value. This includes both tangible and intangible assets. 7 is the long-term investments. It considers the company's strategic approach to long-term investments and planning. This may involve assessing the sustainability of business practices and future growth strategies. Lastly, quality of management. It evaluates the effectiveness of a company's leadership and management team. This criterion considers the leadership's strategic vision, decision-making, and overall competence. Characteristics of an effective evaluation system. Strategy evaluation must meet several basic requirements to be effective. First, economical. Strategy evaluation activities must be economical. Too much information can be just as bad as too little information, and too many controls can do more harm than good. Second, meaningful. Strategy evaluation activities also should be meaningful. They should specifically relate to a firm's objectives. They should provide managers with useful information about tasks over which they have control and influence. Provide timely information. Strategy evaluation activities should provide timely information. On occasion and in some areas, managers may daily need information. Approximate information that is timely is generally more desirable as a basis for strategy evaluation than accurate information that does not depict the present. Fourth, provide a true picture. Strategy evaluation should be designed to provide a true picture of what is happening. Information derived from the strategy evaluation process should facilitate action and should be directed to those individuals in the organization who need to take action based on it. Fifth, not dominate decision. The strategy evaluation process should not dominate decisions. It should foster mutual understanding, trust, and common sense. 6. Simple. Strategy evaluation should be simple, not too cumbersome, and not too restrictive. Complex strategy evaluation systems often confuse people and accomplish little. The test of an effective evaluation system is its usefulness, not its complexity. Among all the requirements mentioned in order to be effective, there is no one ideal strategy evaluation system. The unique characteristics of an organization, including its size, management style, purpose, problems, and strengths, can determine a strategy evaluation and control system's final design. Robert Waterman offered the following observation about successful organizations' strategy evaluation and control systems. He said, "Successful companies treat facts as friends and controls as liberating. Morgan Guaranty and Wells Fargo not only survive but thrive in the troubled waters of bank deregulation because their strategy evaluation and control systems are sound. Their risk is contained, and they know themselves and the competitive situation so well. Successful companies have a voracious hunger for facts. They see information where others see only data. They love comparisons, rankings, anything that removes decision-making from the realm of mere opinion. Successful companies maintain tight, accurate financial controls. Their people don't regard controls as an imposition of autocracy, but as the benign checks and balances that allow them to be creative and free." Contingency planning. A basic premise of good strategic management is that firms plan ways to deal with unfavorable and favorable events before they occur, and that is called the contingency plan. Contingency plans can be defined as alternative plans that can be put into effect if certain key events do not occur as expected. Only high priority areas require the insurance of contingency plans. Strategists cannot and should not try to cover all bases by planning for all possible contingencies. But in any case, contingency plans should be simple as possible. Some contingency plans commonly established by firms include the following. First, if a major competitor withdraws from particular markets as intelligence reports indicate, what actions should our firm take? Second, if our sales objectives are not reached, what actions should our firm take to avoid profit losses? Third, if demand for our new product exceeds plans, what actions should our firm take to meet the higher demand? Fourth, if certain disasters occur, such as loss of computer capabilities, a hostile takeover attempt, loss of patent protection, or destruction of manufacturing facilities because of earthquakes, tornadoes, or hurricanes, what action should our firm take? Fifth, if a new technological advancement makes our new product obsolete sooner than expected, what action should our firm take? When strategy evaluation activities reveal the need for a major change quickly, an appropriate contingency plan can be executed in a timely way. Contingency plans can promote a strategist's ability to respond quickly to key changes in the internal and external basis of an organization's current strategy. In some cases, external or internal conditions present unexpected opportunities. When such opportunities occur, contingency plans could allow an organization to quickly capitalize on them. Lineman and Chandran reported that contingency planning gave users such as DuPont, Dow Chemical, Consolidated Foods, and Emerson Electric three major benefits. First, it permitted quick response to change. Second, it prevented panic in crisis situations. And third, it made managers more adaptable by encouraging them to appreciate just how variable the future can be. They suggested that effective contingency planning involves a 7-step process. First, identification of events. This step involves identifying various events that could have both positive and negative impacts on the organization's strategies. It's crucial to consider a wide range of possibilities to ensure comprehensive planning. Second, trigger point specification. Once potential events are identified, the next step is to specify trigger points. These trigger points indicate when these events are likely to occur. Having clear trigger points help in timely recognition and activation of contingency plans. Third, impact assessment. For each identified event, assess its potential impact. This involves estimating the extent of benefit or harm that could result from the occurrence of each event. Understanding the impact helps prioritize events and allocate resources accordingly. Fourth, contingency plan development. Based on the impact assessment, develop contingency plans. These plans should be compatible with the current organizational strategy and should be economically feasible. Contingency plans are essentially strategies designed to address and mitigate the effects of potential events. Fifth is counter-impact assessment. After developing contingency plan, assess the counter-impact of each plan. In other words, evaluate how much each contingency plan can either capitalize on the benefits of the associated event or mitigate the harm. This step quantifies the potential value of each contingency plan. Sixth, early warning signals. Identify early warning signals for key contingent events. Early warning signals are indicators that suggest the impending occurrence of an event. Monitoring these signals allows for proactive responses and the activation of contingency plans before the event fully unfolds. Seventh, advanced action plans. For events with reliable early warning signals, develop advanced action plans. These plans outline specific actions to be taken when early warning signs. Seventh, advanced action plans. For events with reliable early warning signals, develop advanced action plans. These plans outline specific actions to be taken when early warning signals are detected. Having such plans in place enables the organization to take advantage of the available lead time and respond effectively. In essence, this 7-step process provides a structured and proactive approach to contingency planning, ensuring that organizations are not only prepared for potential disruptions, but also capable of responding swiftly and effectively when these disruptions occur. It emphasizes the importance of foresight, assessment, and strategic response in the face of uncertainties. And that would be all on my assigned topic, and stay tuned for the last topic.
Hi, I'm Kid Charles Ogaliger and I'll be tackling about topic 8 and topic 9, which is auditing and challenges in the 21st century in strategic management, and also the conclusion. Let's start.
Topic 8. Auditing. Auditing is defined by the American Accounting Association as a systematic process of objectively obtaining and evaluating evidence regarding assertions about economic actions and events to ascertain the degree of correspondence between these assertions and established criteria and communicating the results to interested users. This is all about a process to ascertain if all financial reports are accurate and reliable and that no fraudulent activities are happening within the business. It is a frequently used tool in strategy evaluation as auditors examine the financial statement of firms to determine whether they have been prepared according to generally accepted accounting principles and whether they fairly represent the activities of the firm. On the other hand, the dependent auditors use a set of standards called Generally Accepted Auditing Standards. Topic 9. 21st Century Challenges in Strategic Management. There are 3 challenges or decisions that face all strategists today. First is deciding whether the process should be more of an art or a science. Next is deciding whether strategies should be visible or hidden from stakeholders. And third is deciding whether the process should be more top-down or bottom-up in the firm. The first challenge is whether the process should be more on art or science. In the former context, according to Mintzberg, strategists embody the artistic model which suggests that strategic decision-making be based primarily on holistic thinking, intuition, creativity, and imagination. While in the latter context, according to strategy scientists, it contends that firms need to be systematically assess their external and internal environment, conduct research, carefully evaluate the pros and cons of various alternatives, perform analysis, and then decide upon course of action. Both contexts have their own point of view in which process one should take, and certainly the two approaches are not mutually exclusive. However, the business world today has become increasingly complex and more intensively competitive, and there should be less error in strategic planning. And so, it is evident that there is a need for a certain process of research before deciding what action to take, whether in a small firm or not, since there are too much at stake to be less than throughout in formulating strategies, and it is not wise to rely heavily on intuition and opinion instead of research data. The second challenge is whether strategy should be visible or hidden from stakeholders. If one should be open and visible regarding their strategy and processes, managers and employees can readily contribute to the process and provide brilliant ideas. Inventors and creditors have a greater basis for supporting a firm when they know what the firm is doing and where the firm is going. And visibility promotes democracy as management style. And lastly, it enhances the understanding, commitment, and communication within the firm. However, there are also good reasons to keep the strategy and processes hidden. The free dissemination of a firm's strategies may easily translate into competitive intelligence for rival firms who could exploit the firm given the information. Secrecy limits criticism, second-guessing, and hindsights. It also limits the rival firm in duplicating the firm's strategies. And so, the obvious benefits of the visible and hidden extremes suggest that a working balance must be sought between the apparent contradictions. Parnell said that in a perfect world, all key individuals, both inside and outside the firm, should be involved in strategic planning, but in practice particularly sensitive and confidential information should always remain strictly confidential to top managers. And the last challenge is whether the process should be more top-down or bottom-up. In this challenge, it is more on hierarchical power. The top-down approach is all about the top executives having all the say in the matter of strategic planning, while the bottom-up approach, it is emphasized that managers and employees should have a say regarding to the strategic planning. This challenge, strategists must reach a working balance of the two approaches in a manner deemed best for the firms at a particular time. What do you think? Conclusion. The chapter introduces a strategic evaluation framework for achieving annual and long-term objectives. Effective strategy evaluating enables an organization to leverage internal strengths, exploit external opportunities, and defend against threats. Successful organization emphasize deliberate and systematic formulation, implementation, and evaluation of strategies. Good strategists drive their organization forward purposefully, continually assessing and enhancing both external and internal strategic position. Strategy evaluation empowers organizations to shape their own future rather than being shaped by external forces. While not a guarantee, strategic management helps in making effective long-term decisions, efficient execution, and corrective action. Computer networks and internet aid in coordinating strategic management activities, ensuring decisions are based on good information. The Checkmate strategic planning software is recommended for its effectiveness in this regard. Integration of intuition analysis is crucial for successful strategy evaluation and management. Successful strategists recognize that strategic management is primarily a people process, fostering organizational communication, and the continuous planning process is more vital than the written plan.
I guess that would be all in this chapter, strategic review, evaluation, and control. We hope that we have learned a lot in this video presentation and you were able to ponder topics that can be used in our future endeavors. Thank you everyone.